Hey everybody, welcome to Meconomist. Today, I am in my brand new 2017 Ford Expedition. I just picked this baby up, and I wanted to give you guys my first impressions of this thing because it's quite the vehicle, to say the least. Just to give you a sense of where we are, I'm in Houston, Texas right now. It is the end of December, and it's about 72 degrees and sunny outside. This is something that I am not used to. There's a lot of space in here. So you might be wondering, why are you in Houston and why do you have a giant Expedition? Well, it is a good question because I'm not married, I don't have any kids, I'm living on my own in a big city, so what am I doing with this? Well, short story is, it's a company car. I didn't get to choose it, but I'm very glad that the company chose this for me. I work for Ford Motor Company and they want to give us a new car every 6 to 10 months, so I'm not going to say no to that. As a matter of fact, this is kind of a perfect car for Houston, Texas, but we'll get into that later. So my first impression of this truck is that it's quite handsome. It's got a bit of an older style Ford look to it. It's kind of the last of the mid to late 2000s design language, but I think it looks quite handsome. It sits tall, it's proud, and I particularly enjoy the magnetic gray trim package that you can get on the 2017 Limited. I think it looks pretty good. I prefer it a little bit more than the chrome because there's plenty of chrome to go around even without that. One design feature that kind of irks me for no good reason really is the fact that there's a single tailpipe and it's kind of asymmetrical. I really wish that there was dual tailpipes. I don't know why, that's just a personal thing, but hey, I'm probably the only one that really cares. One of the first things you'll notice when you open the door is that the automatic running boards come down, which seems like a nice feature, especially if you're not super flexible and you don't want to step straight up to here. However, I've already bumped my shins on this and it can be quite painful, so it's got some pros and it's got some cons. Of course, I had to get the blue exterior with the tan interior. That's how I like it, and it looks pretty nice like this. I ended up going with the tan interior over the black interior, in large part because Houston, Texas gets very, very hot and sunny, and it's horrible to sit on black leather when it's 100 degrees outside and you've been sitting in the sun for several hours. You do have cooled seats though, which is nice. Overall, the Limited trim package is quite luxurious actually. I've driven a Lincoln Navigator recently and it's really not that far off. The Lincoln gets a few more inlays and things like that, but in terms of features, there's really not a huge difference. Let's fire it up here, and of course you get the Sync 3 system with Apple CarPlay. It's pretty good. It's not 100% reliable, but it's such a big improvement over the old Sync system that I really can't complain about it. Alright, let's go for a ride. See how this thing drives. So, the first impressions, obviously, is that this thing is huge. That is just going to be a fact of life when you're driving an Expedition. And the lighting is also not great in here. It feels like a truck, of course. I mean, it is a truck, essentially. It's based on the same platform as the F-Series, and it just doesn't have a pickup bed. It has an SUV body instead. It is body on frame, and it feels like it. But for a lot of reasons, that's a good thing. It feels a lot more floaty and soft and comfy than a lot of the unibody SUVs that are out right now. Most of the time, I'm driving on highways, long distances, don't need to be maneuvering around corners or anything like that, so I think that's a good feature. It's pretty quiet. and that's very nice. It's nice, quiet interior, feels pretty luxurious, and man, it is getting hot. Jesus. So all new Ford Expeditions come with a 3.5 liter EcoBoost or twin turbocharged V6. And I really like this engine. I had it in my Ford Taurus show. It was a great engine there, and it's a great engine here. Here it's tuned a little bit more for torque than power, which makes sense because this thing is a monster. It's huge. And we're coming up to an accident here. Uh-oh. You get peak torque pretty low in the range, and the transmission is a bit slow to respond, but for the most part that's okay because you get so much torque that you don't really feel like you have to be downshifting too much. Now if you're really trying to accelerate and you have a lead foot like me, then it's going to downshift a lot, but for the most part the engine is great at moving this car. Another thing I've noticed driving this is that you get a lot more respect on the road. People will kind of get out of your way and they'll wave you through more frequently than they do in my Fusion or my Porsche, and especially the Miata. You get no respect in a Miata, trust me. But I kind of like that you get a little bit more respect in this thing. You kind of feel like it too. It's horrible, I know, and I resist it as much as I can, but when you're sitting this high and you're so much bigger than everything else, it kind of makes you get a little power thirsty, and you feel like you are better than other people on the road, which I know is horrible. It's horrible, but it's definitely a thing, and I can see why people that drive big trucks and SUVs can kind of seem like assholes on the road. As you might be able to tell, I did not get the EL version. That is the extended length or extra long version of the Expedition. But I think I'm okay with that. I'm not sure I really would have needed it anyways, considering, like I said, I'm not married, I don't have any kids, I don't plan on having any kids, so it's fine. Because what you can do is just put the seats down in the back, and then you've got a ton of storage space. Look at this. So it's really nice that on the inside you have these buttons and you can bring up the seats or bring them back down, or you can just bring up one side, bring down one side, whatever you want. It's all controlled by these buttons here. However, I can't seem to figure out how to get this left seat down. Even when I move everything out of the way, try to move the seats in the middle as far up as possible, I just can't seem to get this thing to go down flat. I'm sure someone in the comments will tell me what I'm doing wrong, but as of right now, I'm still at a loss here. The space in this thing, though, should be enough for pretty much any family. I mean, I'm crawling through here, and I guess you could say I'm fairly young and flexible, but it didn't take a whole lot of effort to climb all the way through. Now, I also decided to go with the captain chairs in the middle, and they're pretty comfortable in and of themselves. They have good butt space. You got this nice armrest. They recline pretty far back. They're nice. Plus, you have all these features in the center console that you can control from the back. We have media controls, clock controls. We've got heated seats. You can change your temperature and everything, and you even have a normal North American outlet right there. I did get these rear headrest screens, mostly because, hey, I don't have to pay for it, so why not? But when I went to test them out, I discovered they have a weirdly low resolution. They kind of look a bit antiquated. It's not HD, obviously. It's way worse resolution than the center screen for the nav and stuff like that. And that's a little bit disappointing. I guess I just don't really understand the point of them. Because these days, families that can afford a car like this are going to have iPads for their kids, and those are going to be better resolution, have more entertainment options. I was struggling to see the point of them, but they're there, so why not? Now, I do have to admit, the sound system in here is pretty bumpin'. That was a horrible thing to say. It's so good that the bass knocked the phone off of the windowsill there. So I guess if there's one major complaint I have about this, and it's not even that major because it's going to be solved next year, is that it does show its age. So this is one of the oldest new Fords that you can get. It might even be the oldest in terms of the last time it had a complete redo. But next year they're going to be doing a complete redo. It's going to be an all aluminum body and top to bottom everything new. So it kind of makes sense that this one looks a bit older. A few things that make you realize it's older is that it doesn't have adaptive cruise control. It looks a little bit plasticky on some of the areas. A lot of the chunkier design elements are still present from the early 2000s, late 2000s, early 2010 era. You've got a bit more square stuff going on, which I think looks great on a truck like this, but it does kind of harken back to the old days. So overall first impressions of the 2017 Ford Expedition are, it is what it is. It's a big American SUV. For me right now in Texas, it's the right thing. I like it. Obviously I'd rather have a sports car just because that's who I am, but if I have to choose a big American SUV, it's got to be the Expedition. It's been a staple of American middle class success since forever, and I like it. It's pretty endearing, I'm not gonna lie. It does have some flaws, being a bit more dated, but the first impressions of the 2017 Ford Expedition are very good. I'm super excited to make more videos about this thing. I think we're gonna have a lot of fun in this. I hopefully want to take it off-roading because I do have the four-wheel drive package. I do want to do some fun things in it, so keep an eye out for those videos. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks.